Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Minister Ginger London. Thank you so much for joining me on this live session. We had a little technical difficulties. However, we are up and running, ready to go with this quick, short session. I just want to give you a little excerpt out of the Diamond Coaching Academy Coach Certification Training Intensive and tell you a little bit about it so you'll know, so you can make an informed decision on whether or not to register for this. And if you watch me on yesterday, I told you this is my gift to you, that I'm doing this. Gifting you with a $1,470 scholarship so that you at this time will be able to get the training that you need if you've thought about being a coach, thought about adding coaching to your present business or ministry. This is a golden opportunity for you to do so at at a really ridiculous low rate. Again, our normal registration fee is $1,495. I'm gifting it to you for $25 for a 5-day training. I know we're going through this coronavirus time. Most people are on a stay home order by their local and state government officials. And so this is a great opportunity for you to actually use this time wisely, maximizing it by getting the training that you need for things that you want to do in your life, or maybe you want to upgrade your profession, your career. Maybe you want to add something to it so that you can be more profitable or qualify for future promotions, or maybe you're in the midst of change and you're trying to figure out, what it is that I can do, I want to do. If you're called to the ministry of helps and you're trying to, even right now, figure out how can you help people during this trying time, this is a great way to get started because this is going to go on for a minute. So if you like helping people and you want to help people move past or sustain themselves, or help to maintain some mental stability, some emotional stability, teaching them how to maximize their times while they're at home, how to actually utilize that stay at home time wisely, then this is a great time for you to actually become certified as a coach. And, I'm very upfront with you, very honest with you. You don't necessarily need certification to be any type of life coach or business coach. However, training is recommended because there are some things that you may not know about coaching and how to conduct your coaching sessions, how to create your coaching programs, your services, those types of things, how to present yourself as a coach. And so training does that for you. It also teaches you the coaching skills. And as we're going to talk about, you get to see a little excerpt today on a session called Coaching Conversations. And so think about it. And as we go through this presentation, as I tell you a little bit more about it, I want you to make an informed decision on whether or not this is for you. And again, it's a great opportunity. It doesn't cost a lot. And even for those who um, may need a payment plan for the 25, because everybody is not at the same financial level, and I do understand that, and I created that in mind. So when you go to the website, you'll see that we actually have a payment plan set up for those who need the payment plan to make the 25. You'll pay a little bit more than 25. You'll pay 30 because there are some fees that are involved in the payment plan option, that the companies charge us coaches and other people who use payment plans. So make sure that you take a look at that. And then, so let's go through this. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it before we actually dive into it. So again, here it is. It's an opportunity for you to learn a little bit more. So let's look at it closely. So again, the registration fee is $25, and you can see where the regular fee was 1,495. And so the question is, who am I? For some of you who've never seen me before, never met me before, this is maybe your first time tuning in, or you may be following me and not necessarily been keeping up with me. So I'm Minister Ginger London. I have been in ministry since 1988, and I have been coaching, life coaching, since about since like 2010, I believe. No, 20. 2008, I believe. 2008, I started coaching. And so I started training people to be life coaches in 2015. And so I'm a board certified coach, national board certified coach, a trainer, an entrepreneur, all those things. And so I want to encourage you that you are in good hands when you entrust me with your training, because I know my assignment in the earth. I know that God has created me to help people discover their purpose and to train them to walk in the fullness of that. And I do that in 3 steps. I help people to discover what it is, to develop it, and then deliver it. And you've heard me say before, if you heard my teaching, we cannot service everybody, but we can service the somebodies that we are assigned to. So the question is, once you're trained, where is the market that is in demand for the goods that you have? Your goods, your products, your services, your gifts will probably be slightly different from mine, but there is a group of people that you are assigned to, and they need you to get in place so that you can bring to them what it is that they actually need to go forth in life. So there, the graphic is again about. The fee, you're going to get over 20 hours of training during the course of 5 days. And we're going to spend that together. And here's how we're going to do that. The training is designed so that you can still have the bulk of your day to take care of the things you need to take care of. So it's 5 days with morning and evening training sessions. Sessions will be early morning sessions for 2.5 hours. And then we'll come back in the evening and we'll meet for an hour and a half. And then there will be breaks during the sessions to check on anything that you need to check on. So when we do the 2.5 hours in the morning session, there is, I think I built in like a 15 or 20-minute break. That's an opportunity to go check on if there are any press conferences going on in your area. You need to check on children who's supposed to be studying, who are at home and supposed to be doing schoolwork at home. You can get a cup of coffee, you can get a bite to eat. You can refresh whatever you're drinking while we're training. Bathroom breaks, make phone calls if you need to, whatever it is that you need to do, I have incorporated inside the training break times. The same thing for the evening training. I think it's a 10-minute break or maybe about a 15-minute break. For the same thing. Sessions will be held in a private Facebook group. We're going to do some will be held on other platforms. Too, as a part of the coaching tools, showing you the coaching tools that are available. We'll have some that are held on a conference line, so you can learn how to use those conference call lines for your coaching and programs, coaching sessions, mastermind groups, whatever. We'll have some that'll be on internet radio, so you can learn another platform that you can actually showcase your expertise and showcase your coaching skills and teach what you know. So there are different platforms. We'll use some platforms where we'll show you how to do webinars. So some sessions will be in that platform, so you can see how to actually use webinar platforms like Zoom and some of the other ones, so that you can see how easy it is for you right now to get started as you're training, because there's knowledge that's already here and knowledge you probably have on paper, things on the inside of you that's been lying dormant that you need to stir the gift up. People need our help right now. People are going through a lot of different feelings, having a lot of different emotions about this COVID-19, this coronavirus thing, this stay at home. Some people are away from their jobs, don't know what they're going to do. Some people are looking to maximizing this time. They're away from home, but they've always thought about starting a business, and so they need help. So that's where you come in as a business coach. And you can start promoting yourself from day one of the training. So all of your coursework and customizable forms will be posted in the group, Facebook group, so you can have access to it initially when you register. You'll get an email from me that I have all the pre-course, the pre-work before the course, depending on what time, when you register. Hopefully everybody registers by tonight at midnight to get started in the group, in the training session. So you'll get an email. And so if you register late, do what you can, but you need to join us on Wednesday morning, tomorrow morning. All right. So let's go into briefly coaching conversations, an excerpt from the intensive training. And I want you to learn this, and this is what they learn in the intensive. So you're going to learn how to use the power of your voice to structure a coaching call session or a group session, a mastermind group. It could be a teaching or a webinar that you're going to have. And I'm going to teach in the intensive, they learn the 5 C's of a diamond coaching conversation and power questions. Today, I'm going to give you two of the C's and not all five. So it's because it is an excerpt. So it's coming from the actual curriculum in there. But before well, let me go back. Let me go back. All right. So before we talk about the curriculum, let's go ahead and do the coaching conversation, what it is. And let me go ahead and teach that to you right now so that you can be able to do that. All right. Hold on one second. Let me get that up for you. All right, let's talk about this one, the coaching conversation, what it is, and all those things. And you can take notes with this if you like, because this is definitely going to bless you. And so let's look at that. Let's talk about what the coaching conversation is. So a conversation, or to give you some simple definitions of a conversation, an informal talk involving two people or a small group of people, the act of talking in an informal way. It's also an oral exchange of sentiments, observations, opinions, or ideas. It's conversations follow rules of etiquette because conversations are social interactions. So we know that there are some rules of etiquette that are applied to conversations. We don't talk when the other person is talking. We listen. Certain situations you don't raise. Um, your voice tone because it indicates sometimes anger or something. Okay, so there are some rules of etiquette. And then the failure to adhere to the rules of etiquette can cause the conversation to deteriorate or eventually come to an end. And so those are some of your basic definitions of conversation. So, what is a coaching conversation? All right, the coaching conversation is one of the most powerful of all conversations. And I'm speaking of conversations in the natural. All right. So I'm not talking spiritual, because we know what the greatest conversation for that is. So in the naturals, we're talking about the coaching profession, we're talking about business, we're talking about some degree of ministry. The coaching conversation is one of the most powerful of all conversations. So when the coach engages in a real coaching conversation, the client leaves the conversation better in some way. So they may leave the conversation challenged. They may leave the conversation inspired. They may leave the conversation refreshed. So they're going to leave that conversation better in some way. You should never have a coaching conversation where the client leaves the conversation worse off than where they were before they came on the call with you. You see the conversation is not going in the right direction. It's probably wise to just go ahead and let's table this coaching session and maybe reschedule it when we can have a better dialogue. All right. They may leave with a minor problem solved or with a totally new way of thinking about life, business, or ministry. And this is the power of the coaching conversation. When they actually can leave with one or something similar to this. That's the power of it, because they leave with something that helps them to respond or react differently in life, in business, or in ministry. That's what it does, the coaching conversation. So, in a coaching conversation, the responsibility for the dynamic of the session often lies with the coach, right? They lead the session based on their observations of the client's needs and may ask powerful questions combined with other coaching techniques to help the client get in touch with their own answers. So, again, the dynamic of the session is going to be based on how you communicated with the client before they actually came to the conversation. And then based on that, sometimes you have a form or something for them to fill out. They have questions. Maybe you email them questions. They answer the questions in the email, and you review those things prior to the coaching conversation. And so based on that, you come up with the questions that you need to ask as the conversation is moving along. You help them to get in touch with answers. So here, well, let's look at again. These are the 5 C's of the Diamond Coaching Conversation. I'm going to give you I think 2 on here in this presentation. The diamond color, that's the influence, right? That's what you have. You bring to that conversation the diamond color. So before the coaching conversation, as a coach, you need to get clear and specific on what you want to communicate, right? Because you're the one that they're coming to for the help. You're the one they're coming to for some direction, for some guidance, for motivation, for the push, for strategies. Uh, you're the one that they're coming to. So, what impact do you want to have on the client? That's a great question you need to ask yourself, even as you think about becoming a coach. What impact do you want to have on the client? And when you get crystal clear about that impact, then you have done your part. So far as the first C, which is the diamond color, because you're the influencer that they're going to be connected with. So whatever you say, how you respond to what they say is going to influence how they actually respond to the coaching sessions or how you coach them. So you're the influencer. So you have to set the atmosphere or the parameter of what impact that you want to have on the client. All right. And then the second one is diamond clarity, and that's the compassion that you have. You bring clarity to everything. So, as a coach, to be effective, you need to be compassionate toward yourself and to your client. So, during that conversation, compassion will help you put yourself in the client's shoes to help you cultivate a more emotionally intelligent conversation. You don't want to be on the phone with someone or doing a video conference through Zoom or some of these Skype or some of these other platforms that you can use and having just chitter chat or just chasing rabbits or going off on tangents, chasing tangents. You don't want to have that conversation because more than likely that person is paying you. And so no one wants to pay you to chase rabbits and no one wants to pay you to go off on tangents. So you want to make sure that you are having an emotionally intelligent conversation. You want to clarify the client's purpose for the session and for the purpose of the conversation. What do you want to achieve from this coaching session? That's one question for the client. What would you like to accomplish? What outcome from this session or conversation will be ideal for you? Those are the questions that you would probably ask your client or your customer. Um, at the beginning of the session, you can email it to them. They can fill out a form on your website before the call. If they schedule the call, sometimes their scheduling platforms will allow you to actually create a form or ask certain questions. And as they schedule the appointment with you, they can actually answer those questions. And when the scheduling platform emails you and says, "Hey, Ginger scheduled a coaching session with you. The questions that you have me to answer will show up in your email." So you have all of that with the email of seeing what time I schedule it, and then here are the questions that I've answered that you put on the scheduling platform for me to answer. And it gives you some insight into how that conversation is probably going to go for you. Oh, I gave you another one. Okay, diamond cut or the beauty. All right. And so, what is the confirmation for you, the coach, that the conversation is going well? All right. And your confirmation comes from the client's feedback about that current session. And all throughout that session, you can do something as simple as how is this conversation going for you? You know, how do you feel right now? You know, as of we're halfway through. What have you gotten from this conversation? What is a takeaway right now? And then you can come back at the end and ask again. Now, do you have another takeaway? Is there something else? How did this go for you? And it gives you some insight on to how you are influencing the customer and how the customer is receiving your influence. Remember, all right. And so that's important. So, along with those conversations or the power of high impact questions, and your high impact questions are questions that make a person think more deeply about an issue. They get a client closer to attaining a goal or solving a problem. They get things done by dealing with not in why, but in what and how. All right. That's how they deal with it. Not why. Why are you not doing it? That's not a why. No, no, that's not a question we want to ask because They'll have all kind of answers for that. But what and how, right? Because they're going to tell you that they either didn't do something, neglected it, something got in the way, all those kinds of things. And if you get into the why, the conversation might go a little longer on the why. And so before you know it, that 45, 50, 60-minute conversation, however you set your structure your sessions, will be gone, and there still will not be any resolution. So we want to focus on the what and the how. And so I want to give you some examples of some power questions and conversations. All right. Genesis chapter 3, verses 11, 8 through 11. This is a conversation between God and Adam. Right. And starting with verse 8, it says, "And they heard the sound of the Lord walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord, from the presence of the Lord God, among the trees of the garden. Then the Lord called to Adam and said to him, 'Where are you?' So he said, 'I hear your voice in the garden, and I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself.'" Verse 11, and he said, "Who told you who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat?" Let's walk through it right quick. The first power question, verse 9, "Where are you?" That's a power question. This is God asking Adam. You know, God knew where he was, but he's asking Adam, "Where are you?" And that's a power question that you're probably going to ask some of your clients. Where are you in this? Where are you in starting your business? Where are you in moving to the next level? Where are you in ministry? Where are you in resolving this particular conflict with your coworker, or this particular conflict with your family member? Where are you in life? That's a power question. The next one is, who told you that you were naked? That's another power question, right? Who told you that you were naked, right? Who told you that you weren't smart enough to do this? Who told you that you weren't skilled enough to be a life coach? Who told you that you can't be in ministry? Who told you that as a woman you can't do this, that, the other? Who told you that you need more education to succeed? Who told you that? And the next one is, have you eaten from the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat? Now, this is a question that has the answer embedded right in it. That's how powerful this question is. Have you eaten from the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat? The answer is in the question. The key to this question is the person going to answer correctly and tell you, right? To give you the answer. So you'll have a similar question in coaching. So that's one example. Here's another example when God was talking to Moses in Exodus 4, verses 1 through 5. Then Moses answered and said, "But suppose they will not believe me, nor listen to my voice. Suppose they say, 'The Lord has not appeared to you.' So the Lord said to him, 'What is that in your hand?' He said, 'A rod.' And he said, 'Cast it on the ground.' So he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent, and Moses fled from it. Then the Lord said to Moses, 'Reach out your hand and take it by the tail.' And he reached out his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand, that they may believe that the Lord your God of their Lord God of their fathers, the God of Abraham and the God of Isaac and the God of Jacob, has appeared to you." So let's walk through this conversation briefly. The Lord said to him, "What?" Let's back. And Moses answered, saying, and you have to go back even to chapter 3, and walk yourself through this if you want to. But watch this. Then Moses answered and said, "God, but suppose they will not believe me or listen to my voice. Suppose they say, 'The Lord has not appeared to you.'" Now, how many of you have some of these suppose questions about your own life? Suppose they will not buy from me. Suppose they will not believe that I'm a life coach. Suppose that they won't believe that I'm an entrepreneur, or I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Suppose they won't listen to my voice. Maybe no one wants to hear me as a motivational speaker. Suppose they won't come to my webinar when I teach on this subject. Suppose they say, "The Lord has not appeared to you." Suppose somebody says, "The Lord didn't tell you to do that." Suppose someone says, "The Lord doesn't have that in mind for you. You should be doing something else." Suppose, suppose, suppose. Apply that to your own life. So the Lord said to him, "What is that in your hand?" And that's my question to you. What is that in your hand? There's something in your hand. In your hand could be anything: your mind, your experience, your skill set, your not your training, your abilities, your gifts. What is that in your hand? And then he answers him, a rod, right? Watch this conversation. It goes on and he tells him what to do with it. He said, cast it on the ground. And when he cast it on the ground, it became a serpent. And what it says, Moses fled from it. Right? Because it became something that Moses never thought it would ever become. It went from being a rod to now being something alive. The serpent was alive, crawling on the ground. I'm not saying that what you have in your hand is going to become a serpent, but it's going to become alive. And sometimes when you begin to see those gifts stirred up on the inside of you, and you see them come alive, and you see the manifestation of them, you do just like Moses. You flee from it, and you shut it back down. You hide it under the bushel. You do all sorts of things, but you don't pursue it. You don't ascertain it. You don't go for it. You simply flee from it. It's time to stop running from what God has called you to do, especially if He's called you to help others. And it's time to walk in that calling. And coaching might be the thing that helps you to do that. So I encourage you. But let's keep going. It says that then the Lord told him, reach out your hand and take it by the tail. Right? Don't take it by the mouth, take it by the tail. And that's what I want to tell you. Whatever it is that you allow to lie dormant, don't try to grab it all at one time. Take it by the tail, because now you're getting ready to do something over the next 5 days that's going to help you to really begin to walk out in what God has called you. This is going to be your launch into the deep. It's to grab that gift again, grab that ability, grab your skills, grab your talent, grab your knowledge and your expertise by the tail and pick it up again, right? And he said, I want you to do that because I want them to believe that I've appeared to you. So sometimes what you're thinking that others won't believe, it is because you've decided that. And God is telling you, no, get your training, do what you have to do. Because when I present you, people will believe now when you start speaking, teaching, talking, coaching, that I have appeared to you, says the Lord. And this is what you are assigned to do in the earth. All right, here's another one, right? This is a powerful conversation. Numbers 13, verses 31 to 33. But the men who had gone up with him said, we're not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they gave the children of Israel a bad report of the land which they had spied out, saying, the land through which we have gone as spies is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people whom we saw in it are men of great stature, meaning they were giants. There we saw the giants, the descendants of Anak came from the giants, and we were like grasshoppers in our own sight, and so we were in their sight. Again, here you are. Picture yourself. And sometimes you're going to have your clients are going to have the same grasshopper mentality, right? You're going to be looking at other people who are doing it. You're going to know some people who are doing it. They're going to be exceeding at it. You're maybe just getting started or just taking a leap of faith to step into it. And now you're going to compare yourself, and they look like giants to you because they've already been doing it. And now you're saying to yourself, I'm like a grasshopper, not in their sight, in my own sight. So if I see my own self as little and small and can't do it, then that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to be small, little, and I can't, and I won't do it. So you have to see yourself through the eyes of God and see yourself differently on a different platform and in a bigger way, not conceited or grandiose and those types of things, but in the healthy, wholesome, godly mindset. And when you can present yourself in confidence, it says it right here. And so we were in their sight. So they saw themselves as grasshoppers. So the giants saw them as grasshoppers. But when you present yourself through the eyes of God, people will begin to see you. The word of God says in Philippians 1 and 6, being confident of this, he that began a good work in you will perform it until the day of Christ. You have to be able to see yourself doing this, and you can do it. You can't say, I want to help people. Oh, that's what I'm called to do. I want to help people and not get trained to do it, and then step back from what you said and minimize what you said by seeing yourself as grasshoppers and not seeing yourself in the way that God wants you to see it, because you minimize your own success, you minimize your own fulfillment, personal fulfillment, and you minimize the assignment that God has placed on your life. Okay, and so that's one. Let me see if I had another one for you. So I want you to look at your life. So how are you looking at yourself as it relates to becoming a certified, becoming certified as a life coach, or as it relates to the assignment on your life? Maybe you're watching this and, hey, I'm not going to be a life coach, but still I can speak to you as well. How are you looking at yourself as it relates to the assignment on your life? And once you do that, once you understand that clearly, then you can actually respond in a different way to actually what God wants you to do in this. And so let's go back. I want to go back to the other part of this. Give me just a second to actually change this out for you, because I want to actually, I want you to go back and actually see the rest of this presentation on the course. So I want you to make an informed decision about whether or not you're actually going to sign up. And I encourage you to do that. Let's take a look at how this is actually going to work. All right. And so we've just had that. We just had that, the excerpt from the coaching conversation. Let's move on to the next part of this. So here's the curriculum. Here's what it's going to look like for you. When you sign up for this course, and we're going through the next 5 days. On day one, we're going to be talking about the Diamond Coaching Success and how that works, how what it means to be called to coach, and then how do you connect spiritually to coaching, and then understanding people and their habits. Why do people do what they do, say what they say, believe what they believe, not do what they should do, and then how you can create a safe environment as a coach, because again, these are trying times. And as I said, you can get started now. So if you get started now helping people through this coronavirus thing, because people have all different types of mindsets and emotional feelings about this, how do you create a safe environment as a life coach to help people feel comfortable and safe in speaking with you? Day two, the coaching process. Coaching Profession Lab. We're going to talk about the coaching fundamentals, the coaching competencies. We're going to talk about the communication skills that are needed, how to shift your mindset. And what I mean by that, when I say shifting your mindset, if you're going to be a great coach, an excellent coach, you have to shift your mindset, what it is. You have to look at your philosophy of life, look at your philosophy of people, and look at your philosophy of motivation. What do you believe? Can people be motivated to change? Do you believe that people can be changed, or do they just, however they come out, that's the way they are? What is your philosophy? What do you believe about people? Do they have the capabilities or of changing and moving forward? What's your philosophy of motivation in life? Do you believe that positive things influence life? Motivation can push a person to great things. Do you believe that? So shifting your mindset to taking on the mindset where you know something about people and you have a different perspective of people. Coaching skills, we'll talk about coaching skills, and then we're going to talk about the coaching breakthroughs. How do you um, get to that breakthrough moment? How do you have that coaching breakthrough, and how do you recognize it, and how do you help the customer or the client to see that they just had a breakthrough with you, right? And so that as well. And then that's on day two. On day three, we're going to talk about coaching conversations, which is some of what I just gave you here, the structure of a coaching session, the power of high impact questions. We're going to map out your discovery call process. And the discovery call is the person making that initial call, and where you all kind of figure out whether or not you can work well together. How to run an effective coaching session. And then we're going to do practice coaching, where we'll be coaching one another. Day four, we're going to talk about the coaching practice. We're going to look at the money mindset. What do you think about money? Right? Coaching services and programs, how do you set those up? Showcasing your expertise. What platforms can you use and get your message out there in a big way? How to monetize your existing programs and knowledge, how to create those programs. and services. And then again, we're going to do some practice coaching with each other. On day 5, we're going to be talking about the coaching business smarts. How to set your coaching fee structure, how to put together your welcome packets and your coaching agreements for your clients, how to get paid what you are worth. And then we're going to practice coaching again. And then we're also going to do some business planning. We're going to create a client service experience plan. What is that customer service going to look like, or client customer service going to look like, um, with with you as a coach and in your coaching practice and business? They need to have a great experience with you from the moment they hear about you, the moment they contact you, go to your website. They need to have an excellent experience with you in the earth. All right. I'm going to teach you how to create your onboarding process. How do you take on a new client? What is the process that they're going to go through with you? And then I'm going to talk to you about 10 difficult client situations and how you can overcome them or successfully um, uh, manage your way through them without having any unnecessary scars and things like that. And then we're going to do some more practice coaching on day 5. And so, again, here with your course materials, you'll receive your course materials for each session in the Facebook group. You will receive customizable forms to brand and use in your coaching business. I'm going to give that to you. You take the Diamond Coaching Academy's name off and put your name on and ready to go. Use them. For those, people have already signed up. So if you're just listening again to as a refresher, you're going to receive these customizable forms, and you can start using them out from day 1. I'll show you how to use the forms and how to let people know what you're doing so they can be prepared for you when you're ready. Um, there's so many different coaching specializations. So I don't know where you are, what profession you're in, or what interests you have, but these are just some of some of the ones that I just listed. The list goes on and on and on. Life coach, health coach, spiritual coach, business coach, relationship coach, leadership, executive coach, divorce recovery, small business coach, addiction recovery coach, ministry coach, life coach to women, life coach to men, life coach. Pastoral coaching, where it's pastor to pastor coaching. It's so many different ways that you can use the coaching profession. So you're not limited to any type of category. You can create a category. All right. And so if you have any questions and you need to ask, you can email me at ginger@gingerlondon.com. You can also register on the website. There's a picture that just like the one you saw. Click on that. It'll take you to the registration page, and then you can register there. Here it is again. This is what it looks like on the homepage of the website. Again, remember your registration fee is $25. This is my gift to you. Please sign up. Don't miss this opportunity. This is the time most of us are on a stay home, safe at home order, or stay home order from our mayors, our governors, state officials, city officials, and even national officials, where we're being asked to please stay inside, unless it's something that grocery stores and all those kinds of things that we have to um, go to. So I want to take advantage, maximize this time. Maybe you're like me, because I'm maximizing mine. So when I won't be on the training session with you guys, I will be actually taking a training course. So this is a great opportunity. Normally you'd be on a job 8 to 5, 8 to 4:30, and you say, "Hey, I want to do that, but I just don't have the time. Where am I fit it in?" So right now is a great opportunity to fit it in, maximize your time. I know we all like to watch TV, Netflix, Hulu, and all those things. Like I told you, if you ever heard me teach before, schedule everything. So this is a great time. And I don't have mine. I was going to show you um, my planner. A great time to get your planner out and schedule it. Schedule your coach training. Schedule when you're going to take a break. Maybe you're going to take another training class. Utilize this time to the best. This is a great time for professional development. This is a great time for business development. Don't let this time um, skate by and you look back and say, "Oh, I should have taken that training." Do what you need to do. Read articles. Do whatever. But most importantly, make an investment in yourself. A lot of people are often offering courses at a reduced rate. So if you see something and you know that's for you and you've been following that person maybe for a minute, then do it. Do it. Don't miss it. And I'm asking you not to miss this coach training program. Again, $25. You get over 20 hours of training. It's over a 5-day period in that. And so thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me today. I'll be back a little bit later with another um, live session where I'm actually going to talk to you about allowing your gift to make room for you, which is a great opportunity. So, thank you so much for joining me. Stay tuned. I'll be back a little bit later doing another Facebook Live with another excerpt from the course. God bless you, everyone. Take care. It's been great, and I look forward to you registering, and I look forward to seeing you in the class. God bless you. Take care.